Memorial Day weekend means a lot of traffic out there on the roads. Here's a live look over the 264 interchange. Not bad, actually. All of these drivers are out despite gas prices being the highest in 4 years. The average in Hampton roads is $2.80 a gallon. That's according to AAA. 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd is at a gas station in Norfolk to see how it is out there with your drivers. Robert?
Well, I remember back when I was a kid going on a holiday road trips Memorial Day weekend. All you're thinking about is how much fun you're going to have. But when you become an adult, other things enter your mind. And this weekend, one major thing is entering a lot of drivers' minds, and that's these gas prices. Now the average is $2.80. Here at this gas station on Hampton Boulevard, it's actually $2.83. So you just see drivers picking up the handle, putting it in their gas tank, and just kind of shaking their heads. A lot of frustration today, but it hasn't stopped many drivers. Actually, holiday travel is going to be up 6% this year compared to last Memorial Day weekend, and about 21% of those drivers will be going between 100 and 200 miles, so they're definitely going to notice the extra costs. Now, I spoke with some drivers today, some cases thinking about actually canceling their plans, and others who are just saying they're going to have to cut back in other areas, whether it's hotel rooms or snacks. Right now, let's hear from some of those drivers.
Yeah, because typically I'd go down to Outer Banks a lot, usually every summer. So typically now with the gas prices being so high, I might not go as much as I plan on. I might not go at all.
I'm going to Richmond and then going to New Hampshire for my sister's bridal shower. And most of the price is probably going to be the gas, honestly.
Disappointing. It's expensive. So, I mean, it makes traveling a lot more difficult.
And according to AAA, today is one of the busiest travel days of the year. Most families don't wait until Saturday to get on the road. They do it as soon as they get off work on Friday. So if you have to fill up your tank, you might have to wait in line a little bit longer tonight before you get on the highway. In Norfolk, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.